Well, a very warm welcome back to St. Chad's Church, to the recorded part of our service. This is part 2 of our service on Sunday, the 31st of May, which is Pentecost Sunday, and which is the birthday of the church. So if you have arrived here from Joe and Facebook Live, then once again, you've made it to exactly the right place. I bumped into Marjorie and to Yvonne on the path a couple of days ago here at church, and they called out to me, "You're all getting a lot better with that filming." Well, actually, I think it's you that's getting a lot better. We can see that you are flipping much more easily from Facebook page to Facebook page, and the volume of calls to our help desk has gone down dramatically. So well done with that too. Now, towards the end of our service today, we're going to share some prayer time, and we've been asking for your own prayer requests. We've had some of those, but there is still time if you would like us to pray on your behalf. So if there is someone, a person or a place or a situation which is on your heart or in your mind, and you would like us to pray about that today on Facebook, then please send a very short email to me. There's still time to do that. The email address is revchrismore58@gmail.com, and there is a link to that also on our Facebook page. So take your time and send us any additional prayers that you would like us to say today, and we'll make sure that we do that. Last week we invited you to suggest some hymns for today, and you certainly gave us plenty to think about. The ones that you suggested included these: "O Jesus, I have promised, O thou who camest from above, love divine, all loves excelling, shine, Jesus, shine, be still for the presence of the Lord all over the world, for I'm building a people of power. The Spirit lives to set us free, and this is the day." Well, our first hymn this morning is also one of your suggestions. It's a beautiful Pentecost hymn. So we are going to sing together, "Come Down, O Love Divine." Our reading this morning is from the second chapter of the book of Acts, beginning at the first verse, the coming of the Holy Spirit. When the day of Pentecost had come, they were all together in one place. And suddenly from heaven there came a sound like the rush of a violent wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. Divided tongues as of fire appeared among them, and a tongue rested on each of them. All of them were filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other languages as the Spirit gave them ability. Now there were devout Jews from every nation under heaven living in Jerusalem. And at this sound the crowd gathered and was bewildered, because each one heard them speaking in the native language of each. Amazed and astonished, they asked, "Are not all these who are speaking Galileans? And how is it that we hear, each of us, in our own native language? Parthians, Medes, Elamites, and residents of Mesopotamia, Judea and Cappadocia, Pontus and Asia, Phrygia and Pamphylia, Egypt, and the parts of Libya belonging to Cyrene, and visitors from Rome, both Jews and proselytes, Cretans and Arabs, in our own languages we hear them speaking about God's deeds of power."
But Peter, standing with the 11, raised his voice and addressed them. "Men of Judea, and all who live in Jerusalem, let this be known to you, and listen to what I say. Indeed, these are not drunk, as you suppose, for it is only 9 o'clock in the morning. No, this is what is spoken through the prophet Joel. In the last days it will be, God declares, that I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams, even upon my slaves, both men and women. In those days I will pour out my Spirit, and they shall prophesy. And I will show portents in the heaven above, and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and smoky mist. And the sun shall be turned to darkness, and the moon to blood, before the coming of the Lord's great and glorious day. Then everyone who calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God."
When the day of Pentecost had come, they were all together in one place. Thinking about all of our circumstances over these past few months, Jill was reflecting only last week about the unity that she has experienced despite our not being gathered together in one place, yet feeling as though we are together all the same. I sensed a togetherness this week, knowing that as a part of Thy Kingdom Come, many of you had gathered in our virtual upper room, and that we were praying together, even though physically we were apart. So thank you for your ministry whenever, however, and wherever you pray. It's a powerful thing. Just as Jesus' friends experienced the power of the Holy Spirit in the upper room, so we can sense the presence of God in our lives in ways that are unique and personal to each one of us. I was very pleased and fortunate the other day to have a chat, socially distanced, of course, with Samantha Adams, who's a local artist, and Samantha and her friend Sally Bebbington have exhibited their artwork in this church and in other places too over the past few years. The other day we were looking at her painting on acrylic, which is called Spirit of the Dove. Samantha explained that she had taken the image of the dove, the symbol of peace, and reclothed it in a fiery red and yellow feathers to reflect the power and the heat that had been experienced by the apostles in the violent wind and the tongues of fire, which had filled them with the Holy Spirit and enabled them to speak in other languages. Samantha's dove captures the promise we might remember from John's Gospel, Jesus telling his disciples that his Father would send the Holy Spirit, yet asking us to remember too that he leaves us with his dove-like peace, so that amid the winds and the fire, we should not let our hearts be troubled or be afraid. And now, just imagine the scene as devout Jews from all over the world assemble together in Jerusalem without expecting that they would hear a single word in their own native language, the language of those faraway places that are hard to pronounce. And yes, I cheated this morning by using a picture to hide the reader. Imagine then that you or I had travelled to good old Winsford from far away, perhaps with our native tongue being Swahili or Farsi or French or Welsh or Italian. How amazing would it be if suddenly we could hear the most powerful words of God expressed in our own faraway tongue? Might it look and might it sound a little like this?
I'm going to read Acts 2 from the beginning to 4. نزول روح القدس در پنتیکاست. چون روز پنتیکاست فرا رسید، همه یک دل در یک جا جمع بودند که ناگاه صدایی همچون صدای وزش تندبادی از آسمان آمد و خانه ای را که در آن نشسته بودند به تمامی پر کرد. آنگاه زبانهایی دیدند همچون زبانهای آتش که تقسیم شد و بر هر یک از ایشان قرار گرفت. سپس همه از روح القدس پر گشتند و آن گونه که روح بدیشان قدرت تکلم میبخشید به زبانهای دیگر سخن گفتن آغاز کردند.
Notre Père, qui es aux cieux, que ton nom soit sanctifié, que ton règne vienne, que ta volonté soit faite sur la terre comme au ciel.
Mi glywaf dan y lais yn galw arna fi, I ddod â golchi mae a gyd yn afon calfa fi. Arglwyth dyma fi, a dy alwad I, gop fi'n bilan yn agwaid a gaid a calfa fi.
اعمال رسولان باب 2 آیه 32 و 33. خدا همین عیسی را برخیزانید و ما همگی شاهد بر آنیم. او به دست راست خدا بالا برده شد و از پدر روح القدس موعود را دریافت کرده. این را که اکنون می‌بینید می‌شنوید فرو ریخته است.
Benedetto l'uomo che confida nel Signore e la cui fiducia è il Signore. Egli è come un albero piantato vicino all'acqua, che distende le sue radici lungo il fiume. Non si accorge quando viene la calura, e il suo fogliame rimane verde. Nell'anno della siccità non è in affanno, e non cessa di portare frutto.
What an amazing passage. It reminds us that for God, it is not one size fits all. It reminds us that God continues to pour his Spirit upon each one of us, transforming and changing us, not just in our different languages, but changing us at different times of the day and night, at different times in our lives, in different places, expected places, unexpected places, and using our different senses. Each of us sees and hears and tastes God in different ways, or perhaps in the same way at different times. Our unique relationship with Jesus is, for one, Alison-shaped, Sue-shaped, Cherie shaped, Peter shaped, Barbara shaped, Matthew shaped, and for yet another shaped according to your whispered name. And for each of us, although our friendship with Jesus might look different, his blessing we hold in common, and his love and his promises we each share together, in the knowledge that all who call on his name will be saved. I'd just like to thank all of you for being here, both on Facebook and for watching this recorded part of our service this morning, and to thank in particular all of you who came and spoke to us in your native tongue. Thank you so much for that. In a moment, we're going to be rejoining Joe for the prayers, and to take us into the prayers, one other beautiful hymn, Breathe on Me, Breath of God.